Creators, welcome back to a new episode of the Web3 Creators Podcast. And I'm coming at you here from a very special date. It's Rosh Hashanah here, the new year. And I'm wishing you a very healthy, happy, and blessed upcoming new year. Well, the Jewish year for you and all your loved ones. I'm out here. It's been a couple of rough days here. We've been being a lot here in the safe room in Netanya, but the Ayatollah in Iran is not going to stop me from bringing you this episode. So this is a very special one. It's all started when a friend sent me this waveform and I started listening to it, and it was like a podcast doing a deep dive on Soundwork. So I'm starting to listen to it and saying, wow, sounds really cool. This guy's like took up Soundwork and started doing a deep dive. And then as I'm hearing it, I'm saying, wow, this is like, they're going into the weeds. And it took me like a couple of minutes or 3 minutes to say, yeah, maybe this is AI. What is this? Who's doing the interview? But it sounded so real. Turns out, guys, this new platform by Google called NotebookLM is simply insane. Okay, what my friend did is they uploaded the investor deck directly to this NotebookLM, and it automatically generated this AI podcast that is doing a deep dive on Soundwork, is getting into weeds, and it's not just shilling the project, right? It like goes into the weeds and it's like raising important questions and even becoming like a bit skeptic at parts. So this is truly amazing, and I wanted to bring this episode to you so you can listen to the deep dive into Soundwork that's not coming from me, but it's coming from the AI analysis of our pitch deck. So I want you to enjoy this episode and listen it all the way to the end and tell me what you think and if you got new insights from what we're building at Soundwork. So let me know and enjoy the episode.
You're listening to the Web3 Creators Podcast, where we speak to the brightest minds and builders in crypto, DeFi, NFTs, and the metaverse. Our goal is to give you the absolute best tools for building a thriving business in the Web3 space. Now, here's your host, Hernan Arbor. Let's start creating.
It seems like every other week there's a new app promising to, unlock our inner Mozart or something.
Right. Like suddenly we'll all be composing symphonies in our sleep.
Right, exactly. And you, our listeners, you reached out because you'd heard the buzz about this Soundwork thing. And honestly, I'm kind of curious too, is this for real or is it just another fad? So we're doing a deep dive into their whole pitch deck.
Okay, yeah.
To see if it's, the revolution they're claiming it to be.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the hype, especially when you're talking about music and tech.
Oh, totally.
But sometimes you find something that really has a game changer.
Yeah.
So let's see if Soundwork is it.
Okay, let's see. Now, Soundwork, they come out swinging, right?
Yeah.
3 big problems they claim to solve.
Okay.
First one, have you ever tried to figure out who actually created a song?
Oh, tell me about it.
Like with samples and guest vocals and all that.
It's impossible.
It can be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Soundwork's like, nope, we can track all that, give credit where credit's due.
Which honestly, that's huge GE.
Right.
That's not just like a nice thing to do. That's about artists getting paid.
Exactly.
Which brings us to problem number 2, right? So many musicians, especially if they're independent, they're not seeing a dime.
It's so true. I was thinking about that. Imagine you're, I don't know, some artist, right? Working in their bedroom. They create this killer beat, and then boom, some big-time DJ picks it up. The track goes viral.
Yep.
And the artist, lucky if they get a thank you, let alone actual royalties.
Exactly. And that takes us to Soundwork's third point, right? The whole behind the scenes of the music industry.
Ugh, it's a mess.
It's designed to be complicated.
Yeah, it's like rush hour traffic, but for getting music out there.
100%.
Okay, so they've got our attention with the problems. Right. Now, let's see about the solutions, and are you ready for this? It involves NFTs.
NFTs, everyone's favorite, right?
Right. But Are they the answer? They seem to think so.
They're really leaning into it. Yeah, they've got this whole sound NFT standard thing.
The SNFT. SNFT, exactly.
Gotta love a good acronym.
Right.
Okay, but like in plain English, what is that?
Okay, so imagine this. You create this amazing drum loop, okay? With this SNFT, it's like uniquely yours.
Okay.
Like a digital fingerprint for your sound.
Ooh, I like that.
And let's say, I don't know, Drake, he wants to sample your loop.
There's a smart contract built in, so every time his song gets played, you automatically get your cut.
Whoa, so it's like a digital bodyguard for your music, making sure no one's ripping you off?
Exactly. And it gets wilder. They're building a whole marketplace.
Okay.
You can buy, sell, but get this, lease sounds.
Wait, lease? Like renting a vintage guitar, but it's like a digital sound?
Exactly that.
That's kind of amazing,
Yeah.
especially if you're just starting out, can't afford expensive samples.
Right, totally.
Okay, but we got to talk about the AI in the room, right? The Music Maker app.
Yeah, the AI, this is where it gets really interesting, I think.
They break it down into 5 steps.
Okay.
Step 1, you give the app a track that you love.
Like for inspiration.
Yeah, like your current obsession. Could be like Billie Eilish or like Mozart, whatever gets you going.
Gotcha, and then
Then the AI analyzes it.
breaks it down.
Yeah, like the tempo, the key, what instruments they're using, all
Does
that.
that make sense?
This is where it gets really cool to step 3. The app suggests sounds from its library, stuff you might like.
Okay, but it's got to be more than just like random drum loops, right?
Right. It's like curated. They're talking about potentially even like stems from famous songs.
Whoa.
So like if I'm feeling crazy and want to add a little Jimi Hendrix to my pop ballad,
You could.
I could theoretically find that on Soundwork.
If Hendrix's Estate put his music on there, yeah, you could lease it, use it in your song.
Okay, my mind is a little blown right now.
I know, right? It's a lot.
But we're still on step 3. We've got all these sounds. What then?
Now you get to play, producer.
sure.
Steps 4 and 5, you mix and match, add your own style, create something new.
So the AI is like your co-producer.
Yeah.
I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Okay, last step.
Share it with the world.
You mint your track as an NFT. Put it out there for people to hear, to
They
buy.
do the whole 9 yards.
They've thrown a lot at us, NFTs, AI, marketplaces, like everything.
You did.
But is this like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks? Or is there actually something special here?
That's what we're going to unpack. Their pitch is compelling, but like they say, the devil's in the details.
It's all about the details. And listener, you are coming along for the ride. We'll be right back.
Creators, I'm going to take the best opportunity on this break and tell you about our partners at Userway. Basically, if you have a Web3 product and you're not making it accessible for people either with dyslexia or blind people, you are not only missing out of around 10% of the global market, but you're also potentially incurring into some violations. And if there is something that we don't want more of in Web3, is more regulators coming at us. So check out the link below, click on it, and you'll be taken to a website where you can just input your URL and know exactly what are the violations of this standard called the WCAG and the ADA. It's complex, but the bottom line is that you'll know exactly what are your violations and what you need to fix. There's a free widget that you can install and that'll already make your website more accessible. And, don't miss out on that part of the market. And if you believe that you're building something important in Web3, then what about making it accessible to everyone, right? So check out the link below. It helps the channel, it helps us bring you newer guests, and it also makes your Web3 product more accessible to more people. Thanks, Userway, and check us down below.
All right, so we're back. And before the break, we were really getting into the weeds with Soundwork.
Yeah, their whole vision, it's ambitious, to say the least.
Totally. But, talk is cheap, right? So let's see if they've got the goods.
Right. Gotta walk the walk.
Exactly. And one of the things that jumped out at me from their pitch, they use Grimes as an example.
Grimes, yeah.
He's like perfect for this, right? Already into NFTs, selling her digital art for crazy money.
She's got the whole tech-savvy artist thing down pat.
For sure. And Soundwork claims that if she minted her vocals on their platform.
Just her vocal.
Yeah, and even if she went 50-50 with collaborators.
Okay.
They say she could be pulling in a a serious amount of cash.
Yeah, they actually did the math on this, which is kind of interesting.
Really?
Based on her average streaming revenue, the size of her fan base.
Okay.
They're saying hypothetically, if she puts out a vocal stem and 100,000 tracks use it, we could be talking millions.
Millions. Okay, now you're speaking my language. But it's not just about the Grimeses of the world.
Right.
They talk about Tim the Beatmaker, which is it's such a it's a fictional character, but
it's every producer struggling to get their,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tim's story is so relatable, right? He makes this amazing beat, puts it online.
Mm-hmm.
A week later, he hears it on some track that's blowing up the charts.
Ugh, the worst.
But does he get credit? Does he see any of that money? Probably not.
Nope, that's the music industry for you.
Until now,
Yeah.
Soundwork says, so they have this graphic in their deck. It's the old music industry versus their way.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It's night and day.
Total makeover.
On one side, it's this tangled mess, all the labels, the distributor.
They're in their cup.
And on the Soundwork side, it's a straight line, artist to fan.
Clean, I like it.
Okay, so how does this all work?
Yeah.
Tokenomics, right? Every time I hear that word,
It's a mouthful.
it's a little much.
Yeah.
So break it down for me. What is sound and why should I care?
Okay, that's their cryptocurrency.
Okay.
It's the fuel that makes the whole Soundwork engine run.
Right.
You use it to, buy stuff on their marketplace,
Okay.
tip your favorite artists, even vote on how the platforms run.
So it's a backstage pass, a voting booth, but it's a digital token.
Exactly.
I kind of dig it, but what about the competition? It's not like Soundwork's the only game in town.
Not at all.
You've got Spotify, Apple Music, and let's be real.
They're not exactly known for showering artists with cash.
Yep. Right. And then there's Audius doing the whole decentralized music thing.
They've got some buzz, but
Not quite there yet.
not quite.
And then you've got tools like Landar, Splice. They're more about helping musicians with specific things.
Right, the nuts and bolts of making music.
So where does Soundwork fit into all of this?
They're aiming bigger, I think.
It's not just a platform. It's more
A whole movement,
yeah, they're tapping into this whole artist empowerment thing.
which honestly is overdue.
Big time. Artists, especially independent ones, they want more control, more transparency, more money in their pockets.
And Soundwork is saying, we hear you.
It's a powerful message for sure, but can they actually pull it off?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Okay, so it all comes down to this: can Soundwork actually deliver? I mean, they're taking on some serious heavy hitters.
Right. And trying to make NFTs a thing in music, which so far, not so much.
Yeah, it's most people, they hear music, they press play, done.
Right.
Getting them to buy an NFT just to listen, that's a tough sell.
It is, and to be fair to Soundwork, they know that
Not bad.
they even say it in their deck, they're not trying to replace streaming, at least not yet.
So it's more what? An alternative, a supplement.
Yeah, something like that. Think of it this way. Right now, artists get peanuts from streams.
If that.
Right. But imagine on top of that, they can release, I don't know, exclusive stuff on Soundwork.
Okay, limited edition remixes.
Yeah.
Or even just the drum track from a song as an NFT.
Exactly. And hardcore fans. They'll pay for that, knowing it goes right to the artist.
That makes sense, but all this hinges on the tech actually working.
Oh, absolutely.
That AI music maker, that's the big question mark for me.
Same. If that thing can help people create good music.
And not just generic robot beats.
Right. It has to be actually useful.
They do talk a lot about it being user friendly.
Which, with anything blockchain related, is key.
Seriously. They keep using the phrase collaborative AI partner.
Which, I mean, I get it. They're trying to avoid the whole robots are taking over vibe.
For sure. And that whole collaboration thing, that seems to be at the heart of their vision.
Yeah, they want this to be a place where musicians can connect.
Share ideas, remix each other's stuff.
It's almost like a digital music co-op or something.
I kind of love that idea, especially for solo artists working alone in their home studios.
Yeah, it can be isolating.
Totally. But we can't ignore the elephant in the room, right? Blockchain itself.
Yes, the blockchain.
It's everyone's talking about it, but does anyone actually get it?
Right, and Soundwork, they're all in on it, so is that a good thing or a bad thing? Tough to say.
Well, it does bring that whole transparency thing, right? Artists are getting paid what they're owed.
Exactly. Every transaction is right there on the blockchain.
No more shady record label accounting.
Theoretically, not with this system.
But, and this is a big but, blockchain is still so new.
So new.
It's confusing. It's intimidating.
Even for people who are like tech savvy, it can be a lot.
Totally. And that's a hurdle for Soundwork. They have to make this easy for people.
Oh, like stupid easy. Otherwise, forget it.
Think about what Apple did with the iPod.
Okay, yeah.
Back in the day, MP3 players were like a mess, but Apple made them simple, sleek.
And boom, everyone's walking around with white earbuds.
Exactly. If Soundwork can do that for blockchain, they might actually be onto something.
It's all about the user experience.
Totally. But even if the tech is perfect, there's still the human factor.
Right. You're asking artists to, like, trust you.
To buy into this whole new system.
And that's a big ask, especially in the music industry, which is,
not exactly known for embracing change quickly.
to put it mildly. So what's the verdict? Is it time to buy sound or what?
Well, I'm not giving financial advice, but...
Whatever, a good idea.
Right, but what I will say is the Soundwork is ambitious, their tech is interesting.
Could be a game changer.
But, and we got to be real, there are a lot of challenges ahead.
Competition is fierce.
Blockchain is still, finding its footing.
So to our listeners out there, if you're curious, keep an eye on Soundwork.
See what happens, but maybe don't, bet the farm just yet.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, it's the artists who'll decide.
If they embrace it, if they use it, then Soundwork has a shot.
They're the ones creating the music, after all.
So true. Well, on that note, that's our deep dive into Soundwork.
The future of music. We'll see.
We'll see indeed. This is the Deep Dive signing off.
Well, what do you think? It was pretty cool, huh? Pretty amazing. Listen, I must accept that I am pretty mind blown by just the natural feeling of this new platform by Google called NotebookLM. So if you want to check it out, just go to notebooklm.google.com and try it for yourselves. It's an amazing AI tool, and I am very happy to also bring you also AI tools and Web3 products during the podcast. So I think it was pretty cool. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know if you're trying NotebookLM and what do you think of the episode. All right, guys. So see you soon, and yeah.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Web3 Creators Podcast. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all of your favorite platforms. And if you're serious about building your own Web3 business, head over to web3creatordojo.com and check out our courses. That's web3creatordojo.com. See you soon, creators.